Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Friday to you and your family. We're obviously taking a look here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. Had a pretty strong correction yesterday, but it was fairly expected. It did come down to the levels that we were anticipating right there at the 0.786 Fibonacci there, about 23,600. It did wick down lower than that, of course, but recovered quite quickly because there's a lot of volume at that previous resistance level, therefore working as a new support. Okay, so we'll talk about that and much more just so you kind of understand generally what that should look like and hopefully anticipate what's going to happen throughout the weekend, because traditional markets are kind of drawn dead slash down a little bit, but Bitcoin is up on the day. Now again, up on the day isn't that much compared to how much down it came from yesterday, but on the same accord, still pretty good. This correction was expected. Okay, so again, we actually had a pretty nice BNB entry. We got averaged down really low, down to 306, so I'm really content with that entry zone, and things are looking all in all pretty good right now, especially with our previous profits that we took here as well. So let's take a quick look at that actually. If we can kind of take a look at our signals here, you can go ahead and see the most recent BNB long. But let's take a look here, of course, at the most recent Bitcoin trade. 202% in 5 days there for a nice, healthy correction to the upside as we experience, right? Same thing as well with 157% from BNB in 2 days. So again, to me, waiting a full week roughly to get two nice, healthy returns is perfectly fine by me. Some people try to jump into trades consistently. I prefer to wait a little bit longer for better trades. That's again just me being a patient trader, but these are things provided to my community. Of course, if you decide you want to consider joining, CryptoCash.tech is a site, link down below. I've been trading and teaching for over 17 years, and I can tell you it's a wonderful life, and it's really awesome to be able to help people get where they need to go. So thank you again to my community members for just being awesome people. They're all doing very well. We're also using great exchanges too. Bybit, of course, here they linked with Cornix, which is fantastic for my automated trades. Be sure to use that link down below so you get some really nice deposit rewards. Same thing as well with, of course, MEXC Global. They're offered for my United States members. They are awesome because there's no VPN requirement for them. Okay, so no VPN in the US for leverage. That's a pretty unusual thing. And one last thing here, of course, BitGet. We got a few days left in this competition of $4,000 prize pool. So again, awesome features from my exchanges that I'm partnered with, and I'm super happy to be able to bring those results to my community. One last little update, fantastic update by the way. High Block Capital, I'm working with them, getting a partnership, so we can kind of start taking a look more accurately at liquidation levels and understanding more specifically what that looks like. I'm going to be able to bring that to my community there. So if you're part of the community, you should be able to get grandfathered in. We'll double check on that. Still figuring out some different structures of memberships, but for lack of better terms, High Block Capital is coming to the community, and it's a really awesome thing to be able to work with. So here's the thing with Bitcoin. Obviously, we're up a decent percent on the day, kind of correcting any of that behavior from yesterday. So what's great about the way that things worked out is that the price action is pushing itself back up towards the 24,000 mark. So to me, closure about 24,000, 23,800 or higher, right in that range, would be fantastic. That'd be very helpful. But we can see this instant rejection up at 25,000. Like I mentioned before, if we look at the weekly, we can see a death cross here, of course, holding the price action in place, disallowing the price to continue higher. Now keep in mind, that could work as a resistance level moving forward, but this is the first time it's attempting to break that level, right? We haven't been over that average in some time if you look at the big picture here, right? So if we take a look, the last time we were above the 200-day simple moving average was August of 2022. So it's been a good maybe 6 months as a rough estimate there since we've actually had a chance to be able to test that level. Furthermore, as well, the 50-day SIP moving average on the weekly, it's been a long time since we got rejected back in April, and ultimately we've been below that for almost a full year now, a little over. So in general, this is a very positive sign to be retesting that level because it gives us a chance to be able to potentially break through that. Okay, so that's kind of the big picture. Of course, we got 50 on the RSI on the monthly as well. It's another barrier we have to cross eventually, but for now, it's kind of positive that we're getting close to those levels and trying to break through. So what does that mean for us? Is that going to be a strong resistance? Yeah, at first it will be, but once we break through that, we have a pretty strong run up upwards of 28,000 based on the overall sense here that there's not a lot of volume in this range here. Okay, so this range has a lot of price discovery because we pretty much dropped straight through it previously here in June of last year, and then prior to that, if you look back as well, we can see that we jumped straight through it back in 2020, just shortly after the whole COVID thing. So for lack of better terms, this area is undiscovered, and we're going to be in a relatively new price discovery. here soon. So we'll redraw out some Fibonacci retracement levels when the time is right. For the moment, though, we can expect 25K to kind of hold as resistance, but it's nice to see the price action consolidating at 24 and a little bit higher, potentially increasing to making higher highs and higher lows. So let's take a look at the MACD. We've got a strong convergence here showing that we should see the price action continue higher. So if you were to be just say a swing trader with the larger time frames, you could literally take trades off of the MACD and still be very, very successful. So this is a great indicator kind of telling us that we're on the right side of the tracks there. RSI is up over 50 under 70. That's perfectly fine. I like that, in fact, and if you've seen previously with Bitcoin, it can stay up over 70 for some time, usually 1 or 2 weeks on average. So if we break through 70, we could see another bullish continuation for the next couple of weeks. Okay, so there's potential there. Strong emphasis on could, because there's no guarantees we're just going to shoot up there. But if I recall correctly, when I was looking at those liquidation levels, kind of getting my feel for the High Block Capital platform, there's a lot of resistance, or more so shorts with their stop losses right at the range of about 25,000, a little over. Okay, so we had a lot of liquidations recently. There's a lot more to come if we can break through that level. So that would provide a short squeeze and get the price action further up. But here's the thing with the current price action. We can see we're making higher lows, which is great. We're honoring this ascending trend line even still, and you're probably questioning yourself, well, why was it, how are we honoring it if we broke down below? Well, a lot of times these ascending trends can continue even though you break below. You can continue an overall trend without that. Okay, now I know it seems kind of contradictory, but generally speaking, this ascending trend here, albeit not officially valid, we can see we're still making higher lows in the overall sense of things if you exclude this most recent dip. Okay. So again, that most recent dip was kind of unnecessary, but once again, it was validated because of the fact that this recent high became the recent low. So it's actually just fine that that happened, because that did create higher lows and higher highs on the daily, right? So those are positive signs. All right, what I'm getting at here is we have a handful of different things that are conflicting in the 4 hour. First of all, we've got a MACD divergence that's starting to lose momentum, but still diverging nonetheless. So in a lot of ways, you could anticipate the price action coming down lower. There's no guarantees it's going to keep coming up here, because we could be establishing lower highs now, right? We could definitely be doing that. So we want to kind of wait and be patient to see what happens here, because even though we're bouncing off 50 on the RSI, and that's a positive sign nonetheless, that's kind of that ascending trend I'm referring to, we can still see that the MACD is diverging, mainly because we lost a lot of momentum right here with this plunge. But once more, that seems to be a tentative situation. I don't think that's going to hold, but we want to wait to see if we establish higher highs or higher lows first. Okay, what's going to occur here in the near future? So to me, I'm looking for higher lows to break that descending type of trend that we might be starting. Okay, there's a handful of different things that we can look at, but that to me is important. And if we take a look at TD sequential on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, we can see the price gone sideways. We came down to an 8, got a little reset. Now we're up to a 6. So, again, there's no guarantees here, but we could see a few more hours of continuation upwards to retest this level of 24,300. That was supposed to have worked as a support level, but you can see there was a lot of liquidation at this level. Get the price action come down. So what does that mean for us here? Well, we probably want to take a look at Ichimoku Cloud and kind of confirm if there's any conservativeness here in letting us know what we should do. And in truth, it's kind of ugly, because when the lagging span here is kind of, even though it's free and clear, is soon to intersect with the price action, that really tells us we don't want to take a long position or a short position just yet. If you have a short position open, you may want to consider closing it, because the simple fact that we are within the cloud or potentially breaking above it, right? But generally speaking, we have that momentum still to the downside, even though the conversion line's below the baseline, and the lagging span is technically free and clear of the price action. The upper and lower lead on the cloud is giving us confirmation that the support is holding. Okay, so this could work as a resistance, don't get me wrong, could come back down. But generally speaking, when you're traveling within the cloud, the common rule of thumb is to not take a trade and to effectively stay on the sidelines until it confirms breaking above or below. So this is trying to break above, okay? So hypothetically, we get a closure today above 24,300, that tentative resistance level / support, then we'll know more specifically if we can hold that level. For right now, it's leaning a little bit more towards shorting, just based on the simple fact that we're still kind of free and clear there and there's momentum to the downside. But we want to wait and see, right? Because on the daily, it's telling us we have potential momentum to the upside. We have a strong MACD convergence. But the 4 hour tells us we have a strong MACD divergence too. So when you have that conflicting information, a lot of times it's best to kind of wait and see which one takes place. Now keep in mind, the daily is a stronger moving average based on the fact that it's a larger time frame, right? The higher the time frame, the more legitimate it is. So To me, I would lean a little bit more towards the overall momentum being upwards than downwards. But if you're going to short, I would recommend very tight profit targets and ensure that you have a stop loss in place. And I don't recommend large amounts of leverage. Again, just different strokes for different folks, but I do not love shorting. I prefer to get in on a nice long position and average my price down versus taking profits on the way down. Again, different strokes for different folks. I've been trading for a very long time, and I like what works best for me. It works with my risk tolerance. And that's the thing, you got to develop your own risk tolerance and understand what works best for you. And in this sense here, with what we see, there's a lot of conflicting information. We need a little bit of time for it to kind of play out. But there's no doubt that we are tentatively looking a little more bullish on the hourly and the daily, whereas the 4 hours kind of giving us that conflicting transition based on the fact that we have a significant correction in the most recent 24 hours. So that's gonna impact things a little bit. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at there. Let's do one last thing here. Take a look at our CC Golden Indicator. And we can see here that had we taken entry right here, we are looking at potential profit right there. Okay, so again, this indicator is really basic and simple. I'm actually developing a new indicator that should be available to my community or more importantly, just available on the website where you can go ahead and purchase this, and it works concurrently with a trading bot too. And as you can see, when there's an indication here, these little yellow flags, it tells you to take entry based on specific things built into this. Okay, so most of it's based on the volume weighted average price or moving average, as well as, of course, the EMA 15. So hypothetically, take entry here, take profits here, good to go. All right, and there's no guarantees in it, of course, but for the most part, it gives us really good signals to get in based on the fact that we're on the right side of the tracks. Okay, so to me, this tells me that we are moving bullishly on the shorter time frames, and we're looking pretty decent. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. That will absolutely be available here in the relative near future, working with some coders to get that taken care of. Either way, I do appreciate you all joining me here, and hopefully this was a good learning experience. If you want to learn more, of course, CryptoCash.tech is a site, link down below. Be sure to reference our brand new website, and of course, become part of our amazing community. Thanks again for joining me here. I look forward to working with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one.